People, Deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well on this Monday, about to say Sunday, Monday evening. Now, Guendouzi, he's a hot topic, and I mean, he's always going to be a hot topic. He's come from Lorient, and he's in the side more or less week in, week out. He polarizes opinion. Some people can't see the hype. Some people think he's a good player. Some people, like myself, think he's a good player who's playing quite well on a general basis this season. Has gone through ups and downs and dips in form because he is a young player still trying to develop and somewhat a rough diamond. And while he's not there yet, he can be a good player if he works hard, remains consistent, and it seeks improvement. And I do think it's testament to his ability. And how good he can be or how good he possibly is in the sense that he's heavily scrutinised. Now, most people, clearly, I'm a big fan of his people. The one thing I was saying, I've been saying it, and when I actually made the vid way before he came to Arsenal and was linked with Arsenal, I said one thing about him: he's very cultured, he's very creative, he wants to make things happen, but he is very wasteful in midfield. And if it's not giving away balls in dumb areas, for me, a pet peeve he does is it's like, he's very good at drawing fouls, but you have to play to the whistle, and he's still got that academy vibe where you're waiting for the referee's whistle, and you're not going to get away with that. I do think it's harsh on the principles. People are forgetting that he's a young man. At the end of the day, he's at Arsenal Football Club. If you're at a top 6 club, you're playing week in, week out. You're going to be rated and you're going to be scrutinised with that week in, week out. Fans can be fickle, of course. Fans can flip-flop. But I do think it's harsh on one hand because he's 19. He made 30 appearances, forgive me if I'm wrong, for Lorient. He's made 40 appearances for Arsenal, 29 coming in the Premier League. That's just shy of 100 career appearances. He's still a young man developing. He's going to get stuff wrong. I believe he's old enough and he's played enough games to see, similar to Mustafi to a degree, what you do right and what you do wrong and what you need to improve on. And to a degree, if you keep making the same mistakes, it becomes a choice. And I do think Guendouzi makes the same mistakes a lot of the time, but I think he's a wonderful footballer. I like him. The point I'm trying to make as well before I go left and right is he's made 40 appearances at Arsenal. He's hardly played any sort of real football as a professional footballer. He's still young, so I do think it's harsh. On the other hand, it is almost testament to his ability in that the last thing people mention is his age. They do mention his age, so I sound like a hypocrite. They mention the fact that he's always in the side, and people praise and critique his performances heavily. It is testament that people have kind of forgot that he's a young, untested French youngster coming to a new country from the second division, and he's taken to the Premier League like a duck out of water. Unai Emery does play youth, and he's handed 11 debuts collectively throughout the academy or so far in his first season, but he's not Wenger in that he's going to have you around, he's going to give it out all willy-nilly. And the fact is, Guendouzi obviously is more experienced than the average youngster coming into the club or currently here, but he's playing week in, week out. Holding had to wait a while to get in the side. Mavropanos has barely played for Arsenal. So Unai Emery is clearly someone that has very high standards, and he wants to see certain things in training, and Guendouzi's been playing from the off. Even Torreira had to wait a bit to be integrated into the side. Guendouzi's been playing for the off. He's made 40 appearances for Arsenal. That's more than the club he's already been at before us in Lorient, and the season's not done. I think we need a central midfielder. I do think he obviously needs to mature a bit, and while I think his strengths are going forward and more attacking, to become a complete player, clearly he has to improve in regards to the dirty work. He relishes tackling and the physical part, in my opinion, but clearly he gives fouls away, he picks up a lot of yellows, and he can be a bit better in his positioning and tackling. That is a weakness of his. He can improve in that, but I do think it's harsh. I think he's a brave lad. He's a passion merchant like Lacazette, and I love him for that. You see him getting into it with Zaha. Many young players would sink, and his experience at Lorient can't be understated, even though it's 30 appearances, because it's probably allowed him to hit the ground running. He relishes it. Many players, clearly he's a young man, he probably looks at social media, or he knows if he's played good or bad, similar to many Arsenal players throughout the years and continuously. He doesn't let his head get too high or get too low. He plays the same way with the same heart week in, week out. He doesn't let things faze him. And I think that natural hunger that he has, the natural desire, that bravado, that bravery to brush things off, I can't help but support the lad, man. I actually even think against Palace he played quite well, in the sense that him Lacazette and Ozil, they were the ones trying to make things happen and go forward. Yes, he was naive. Yes, I've even said it myself. A big reason as to why we lost the game is the pivot, and he needs to mature up and think about the defensive aspects of the game and the dirty work. The pivot doesn't happen between him and Elneny. It doesn't work. But I think people need to get off his back a bit, man. Has he probably had a natural dip in form? Possibly, yes. He's made 29 appearances. When was the last time he was consistently out the squad? I know he technically got suspended because of yellow cards. Apologies, people. Chelsea's still 2-2. He got suspended because of accumulating too many yellow cards. But you look at Manchester United away from home. That run of fixtures until I think I was looking at it on Transfermarkt until we got to Huddersfield. He's playing. If he's not, he's played a lot of 90 minutes consistently this season. Or if he's not played 90, he's been on the pitch. Or he's been brought on at half time. Or do you see what I'm saying? And obviously, naturally, he's barely played football as a career professional away from Arsenal. He's going to have drops on form. He needs to learn to keep consistency for good periods. He's had ups and downs and wobbles in form, as has many players this season. Torreira has, whisper that, but Torreira has. He's naturally going to have a dip off in form. He's trying to assert consistency into his game at a greater level. That's what these young players need to do. And I do think fans are right to call things as they see it, but I do think fans can be harsh because, yes, I'm not excusing some of the mistakes because I think regardless of age, you played enough times to know what you did good or wrong. But I can't help but support Guendouzi for his bravery and actually keeps trying certain things. And fans are a bit harsh in a sense that Guendouzi, yes, he does need to improve in certain aspects, but you need to understand it's going to take a while to get him out of his game. He's going to make these lax mistakes in midfield. He's going to get caught in midfield. What was it? Who was it against? I swear, he got caught on the halfway line or something like. There's a mistake. He got caught. He was the last man. He got caught in possession, and they went and done something, and then the opposition scored. He's given the ball away in key areas, of course. So has Xhaka. So has many players. I could bring up several examples of every player in that squad when they've lost the ball at some period. So we need to accept again why he needs to improve, and we do need to call it out the more we see it, but we need to accept he's going to make errors. There's going to be certain issues and things like that. In the same way, Mavropanos, that foul he gave away for Benteke for the free kick that led to the first goal, he's barely played. He's going to give away them sort of fouls. He needs to learn not to, but he's going to have to give them away. Maitland-Niles, he's not a fullback. He's going to switch off defensively at periods. Even in central midfield, he needs to improve in that. He's barely played there, but when he has done at Arsenal, not this season, he can improve in that. Nelson, I want Nelson to play next season. I back him to eventually develop into someone who can get 10 goals, 10 assists minimum. But he's not going to turn into that overnight. He's had a testing season and a good period of growth in his long spell away from this club. But am I expecting him to come back and be Cristiano Ronaldo? No, he's going to have hot and cold periods. And it's like fans can't say on one hand to a degree, okay, cool, we can call things as we see it, because if players need to improve, they need to improve. But it's like on the other hand, you need to accept where these guys are as professional footballers. Mavropanos, Nelson and Guendouzi, how added together, it's obviously because Nelson's gone on loan and stuff, and Mavropanos played a lot in his homeland, but you're barely touching 120, 150 career league or career club appearances between all of them. They're all inexperienced. Back to Guendouzi, has he probably had a dip off in form? Of course, but it's down to us to support him, man. I like him a lot, man. Obviously, he needs to improve, and I have said that several times in this video. He needs to improve in terms of giving the ball away in his positioning and just possibly improving defensively. We know his strengths are very much on the ball, but I like Guendouzi. He knows what it means to the fans. He's obviously a very cultured player with a ball at his feet. He likes to make things happen, and he can develop into a real player, man. If he develops to the way I believe he can, he's not going to be at Arsenal long. And some people don't rate him as much as that, and that's okay, because regardless of what you think of Guendouzi, whether you think he can go on to higher heights and play for the elite clubs, even though I don't want him to leave, he can become a competent, reliable, good central midfielder at this club and someone that can identify with the fans. So I stand behind Guendouzi personally. I've got nothing more to say on that front. Burnley got the draw, I believe. Admittedly, I haven't seen the scoreline, but Chelsea have dropped points. So it's all good. So on that note, I'm going to keep it moving and get out of here, people. Deluded, I'm out.